Welcome back to Respoiled. Today, I have another captivating story to share with you. But before we dive in, if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications, so you'll never miss out on all of my latest uploads. Now let's get started. Factory employees stormed the offices demanding accountability from their boss who had evaded responsibility following an incident where several workers sustained severe injuries. Tensions escalated as employees vandalized office property. Upon the police's arrival, they encountered resistance from the employees, with Mikkel assaulting an officer. Additional officers intervened, apprehending Mikkel. In the aftermath, footage of Mikkel's arrest circulated online, becoming fodder for teenage amusement. Incensed, Mikkel's daughter Selma retaliated by smearing horse feces on a classmate's face. Elise, after consulting with the headmaster, feels uncertain about how to handle Selma's behavior. Selma has been acting out since her parents' divorce and Mikkel's incarceration, although he was recently released with an ankle monitor. During a night at her father's place, Selma watches the news and discovers that Latin America is experiencing highly acidic rain, attributed to pollution and global warming, which has resulted in the deaths of numerous wild animals. Scientists warn that this rain may soon reach the northern hemisphere. The following day, heavy rain begins, and Elise realizes that Selma had left her room window open, prompting her to place a towel on the floor to manage the water. Later, she falls asleep on her daughter's bed, unaware that the towel is beginning to lose color. The next day, while it's not raining, the sky remains overcast, and people are vigilant about the news as rain sporadically appears across the country. At work, Mikkel notices that the wet ground has an unusual texture. He receives a call from Elise, expressing concern about the rain situation and wanting to pick up Selma from school early. Since Elise's car is in the garage, Mikkel will have to drive her. However, upon reaching the school, they discover that the class has gone for a horse ride, leaving their phones behind. They head towards the forest to locate Selma, but many other parents have the same idea, causing a traffic jam blocking their way. Dark clouds loom over the forest, prompting Mikkel to veer off the road in a frantic search for his daughter. Meanwhile, Selma struggles as she's not adept at riding, lagging behind her classmates in the forest. As a few raindrops start falling, they burn the sticks on the ground and distress the horses, causing them to panic and making Selma fall. Mikkel and Elise find that the forest is too dense for the car to pass through, so Mikkel proceeds on foot, starting his search at the stables where the distressed horses are causing chaos. Selma runs back and reunites with her father as he emerges. They rush into the training building just before the rain begins. Despite some drops seeping through the roof's holes, burning the ground. Mikkel hunts for blankets to shield them and calls Elise to share their whereabouts. Despite the challenging visibility from the heavy rain, Elise manages to locate the building and parks nearby for Mikkel and Selma to enter. As they resume driving, they hear screams of pain from people affected by the acid rain. Eventually, they encounter another roadblock, with cars behind them witnessing their paint melting away, making it impossible to turn back. As Elise maneuvers, she switches lanes, but encounters another part of the traffic jam. During this, some individuals attempt to force their way in, with one man with severe facial injuries managing to intrude briefly before Mikkel swiftly removes him and secures the doors. Elise seizes another opportunity to move forward, accelerating and nudging aside cars obstructing their path. Witnessing the paint on the ceiling change hues overwhelms Selma, leading to a breakdown. Shortly after, the rain ceases, revealing the aftermath of melted bodies and objects due to the acid. The family pulls into a supermarket parking lot and gathers clothes and blankets to shield themselves and their car. Elise contacts her brother at work, but he's unable to join them due to road closures. Mikkel attempts to reach his girlfriend, but reaches her voicemail instead. Over the next few hours, they join the throngs of people attempting to flee the country. By evening, the car succumbs to acid damage, rendering the back door jammed. Mikkel kicks it open while cautioning Selma to avoid inhaling any splattered acid. Subsequently, they explore until stumbling upon an abandoned building, surprisingly adorned for an inexplicable party. A cat sneaks in and helps itself to party food, but Elise prevents Selma from petting it due to potential acid contamination on its fur. Mikkel reaches his girlfriend briefly, but the signal fades soon after. They find tap water running but are unsure if it's safe, so Mikkel tests it by leaving some out for the cat, which upsets Selma. Elise finds bottled water for Selma to drink. They improvise by covering their feet with foil trays and tape for added protection. Shortly after, they find the bowl melted, indicating the tap water is unsafe. With only alcohol and party food in the fridge, they settle for that for dinner. Selma worries about their survival on foot, sparking an argument between her parents. They continue arguing despite Selma's pleas to stop, leading Mikkel to angrily break a glass and storm out. Later, raindrops seep through the weak spots in the ceiling, disrupting their sleep. Unable to rest, Selma searches for the cat and discovers its lifeless body, returning to her mother for solace. The next morning, they join others on the road, attempting to leave the country on foot amidst a dry spell. As the hours pass, the crowd grows larger, and upon reaching the bridge, they encounter numerous people and vehicles stuck. The police are blocking the way, permitting only small groups to pass intermittently for safety. Despite this, the crowd persists in pushing forward, causing Elise to become separated from her family. Despite Elise's attempts to explain her situation to the police, they show no concern and insist she continues across the bridge. Upon crossing, she realizes the police's cautionary approach is due to a significant hole in the middle of the bridge. The crowd grows increasingly forceful, and Selma narrowly avoids being crushed, prompting the police to deploy tear gas to push them back. Suddenly, the bridge emits an ominous noise, drawing everyone's attention as it begins to collapse. Debris from the collapsing bridge fatally strikes some individuals, prompting others to flee in panic. Despite the danger, those at the front continue to push forward, resulting in a clash between the two groups. Amid the chaos, Elise struggles to reach her family amidst the pushing crowd. The escalating turmoil causes the railing to give way, sending several people, including Elise, plunging into the water below, where they suffer immediate burns from the acid. Selma, realizing the danger, rushes off the bridge toward the shore in a frantic attempt to save her mother. However, Mikkel intervenes and halts her just before she reaches the water's edge, forcing them to helplessly watch as Elise's lifeless body drifts away. With the bridge rendered impassable, the police escort the remaining crowd to a nearby military base. Mikkel manages to contact his girlfriend, but Elise's brother remains unreachable. The group is then split into different military trucks, sharing the scarce bottled water during the journey. Repeatedly stumbles, requiring Mikkel's aid to stand and guide her forward. Their pace causes them to lose sight of the crowd, but Mikkel locates a nearby tunnel, clearing debris swiftly for shelter just as the storm unleashes its fury. Rainwater seeps into the tunnel, dissolving the soil, compelling Mikkel and Selma to navigate cautiously in the darkness. Mikkel slips, his fall drawing blood from the acidic moisture. After a while, they reach the tunnel's end. The rain has ceased, yet Mikkel's phone lacks battery for assistance. They trek for hours, stumbling upon a cluster of houses, but their knocks remain unanswered. Overwhelmed, Mikkel succumbs to exhaustion, collapsing as Selma cries out for aid. Upon awakening, he finds refuge in Deborah's home, along with her son. Deborah offers bottled water and clean clothes, but reserves her food for herself and her son. Selma stumbles upon a room with acid stains and a protected machine. Deborah prevents her from touching it, explaining its importance for her son's dialysis. Mikkel offers to help move the machine downstairs to shield the boy from the acid. Grateful, Deborah shares some food and lodgings for the night. Mikkel attempts to enter the neighbor's house with an axe, but impending dark clouds force him back before making headway. The storm intensifies outside, prompting Deborah to make a tough call as she realizes the house won't withstand it. Mikkel opts for the garage for safety, and Deborah discreetly locks their door before joining her son to sing him to sleep, bracing for the worst. Melting spots emerge, particularly at the water taps, and paint stains the walls resembling blood, while a noxious smoke emanates from the heater. Awakening to the house's gradual disintegration, Mikkel and Selma attempt to check on their hosts, only to find the door sealed. Toxic fumes encroach on Deborah and her son as the upper floor collapses, compelling Mikkel to pull Selma away from the door amid her frantic calls for the boy. Reluctant to leave their newfound friends, Mikkel urges Selma into Deborah's car, then drives away after opening the garage. In the intense darkness, Mikkel struggles to navigate with only the front lights. Despite the car's electrical nature, recurring system failures prompt it to halt for safety. Mikkel strikes it to restart and presses on aimlessly. Hours pass with no rain as they traverse endless fields until Mikkel halts the car. Selma confronts him about being lost, leading Mikkel to snap and yell before exiting the car. Mikkel's leg starts burning, prompting him to return to the car where he finds Selma missing. She struggles to run away and grapples with the burning ground before climbing atop a sinking structure. Hearing her scream, Mikkel drives toward her, but the car also sinks in the mud, forcing him to proceed on foot. He arrives just in time to rescue Selma, carrying her on his back despite severe burns to his legs. Reaching the car again, they climb atop it, and Mikkel loses consciousness. The next morning, Selma wakes to the sound of a truck and discovers the military has arrived to rescue them. Mikkel receives medical attention while Selma inquires about her uncle's whereabouts. However, he isn't listed in any shelter database. They discover Mikkel's girlfriend's name, but sadly, she has passed away. When Selma sees her father, she chooses not to share the heartbreaking news with him just yet, offering him comfort instead. Don't forget to like, subscribe and enable notifications for more content like this. Thank you for watching.